Good morning, everybody. It's 6 o'clock a.m. here in New York City, and I'm so happy to be joined by all of you and also by my co-hosts, Charlie Hurt and Joey Jones. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
It's Labor Day weekend.
It is college football Saturday. Labor Day is important, yes, but it is the first day of college football, and I'm so excited, or at least the first full Saturday.
So are you the one that just turned our show into football?
No, not
Somebody
at all.
did. There's a lot of football on the show, so if you like football, stay tuned for the rest of the four hours. We actually have Will Kane coming up as well, being our guide to all the games that are happening, Texas and Ohio State.
It's the biggest game for sure. Might be the biggest game for the first 3 or 4 weeks. I mean, Texas is supposed to be really good, and Ohio State's been really good. Georgia's beat both of them the last time they played them, but that's a different story.
Well, what I'm looking forward to is the prediction game, and Rachel will beat everybody in the prediction game.
Totally, because I know nothing about it. I just go with my gut instinct.
Right.
And it's usually.
Do you go by colors or mascot when you do that?
A lot of times, just which uniform is cuter.
There we go. I like
what
it.
color? Who has a better color combo?
Well, there's nothing cute about orange, so Texas has got some bad luck if you're picking.
I'll have to see that uniform. I really honestly can tell you, I don't know what it looks like. We'll have to see that, but we'll stay tuned.
She'll have her rulings. Speaking of rulings, dual court rulings, complicated.
Thank you, Maddie.
Thanks, Maddie.
So these rulings are very interesting. Obviously, the president's going to appeal them. But with regards to the tariffs, she did mention that it doesn't apply to certain country ones. But I was just going to say that these tariffs are beyond the economic equality or.
Go back and come up with foreign policy, national security reasons to enforce all of the other tariffs.
Exactly.
Yeah, those people, because they've been here longer. If you're not looking at a piece of legislation, if it's policy, it's really a matter of opinion, right? Like how much this person, how many rights you have based on the amount of days you've spent here doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Or how much more, it becomes like the compassion factor, right?
Yeah,
so people feel a lot more sorry for people who have been here a lot longer and been evading the law longer.
But that's just not a legal standard.
Yeah, they're really used to being here. And you're right, it's not a legal standard. Well, we're also learning more about the horrific shooting that claimed a lot of idea when Chanley came on what aspect of the story she was going to cover. And I'm so glad she covered this one. When the shooting took place, I was literally minutes from coming on to air on Outnumbered. And as the information is trickled out on what happened and how, as she described, the older kids were shielding the younger kids, before I heard this report, I knew that school kids basically threw their own bodies on top of these kids, pushed them onto the ground and under the pews so that they could rescue them. That's just how it is.
Level of ghoulishness that it's kind of even hard. You don't even like to engage with people like this that say things like this. But one thing that I think is particularly interesting, especially for people who worked in the Obama administration, Barack Obama was president and had a filibuster-proof majority at one point during his presidency. If this is what causes, if gun laws, the lack of gun laws is what causes school shootings, he could have actually gotten something done to prevent all that from happening. And he didn't do that. And either because he doesn't care about these people and the people in the Obama administration don't care about it, or they care more about the fact that they would have been punished politically for it. I suspect it was more about the second thing, that they cared more about their political future than they did about doing the things they now say would solve these things.
You say they're ghoulish. Maybe. I think they're just really ignorant. A lot of these people are progressives. They're secularists. They worship at the altar of, social justice, and they think social justice is the answer to all of our problems. And often it's just the cross. And Bishop Barron actually had a really great response to this. Listen, that Jesus Christ was dying on the cross and prayed.
No, absolutely, and Bishop Barron is going to join us next hour, so stay tuned. It'll be a very interesting conversation. There's a lot to unpack here. Two different things. Charlie, you kind of focused on the gun laws and where Democrats are. Obviously, Rachel, you see where they're, I guess, attacking prayer And if that's your reaction to such a tragedy, is to utilize dead kids for your political and partisan gain, and pick up with both hands and run with. It has nothing to do with saving kids. It has nothing to do with making our country safer. These exact same politicians are trying to attack President Trump right now because Washington, D.C. doesn't have enough kids dying right now because of what President Trump is doing. If you look in Minneapolis or Chicago or New York City or any big metropolis, and regardless of who's in charge, although most of those are Democrats, policies don't work that they're using. It's illegal guns that are killing people. It's handguns that have been absolutely, the Supreme Court has said, hey, you can't take those away. So they're going after the one gun that the Supreme Court hasn't ruled that harshly on or that decisively on, but it has nothing to do with saving lives. So if they're ignorant, they're also disingenuous and full of crap.
All right. Turning now to your headlines.
The FBI revealing. So, I mean, I've heard of worse laws.
Oh, for sure. I will just say this. If you talk to people on the cabinet, I do, they will say that Marco Rubio is the funniest one. He's the funniest cabinet member. You wouldn't think so because he's got, such serious issues he's always dealing with. And we often see him on TV, talking about very serious things, whether it's war in Ukraine and all the things that are happening in Latin America. And yet these moments in the cabinet meetings offer these guys a chance to kind of show who they actually are, because they're among their colleagues having a 3-hour meeting and these kind of moments happen. I just think that's some of the greatest stuff that we've gotten to see out of this administration. Not a bad idea. He's right. There are 7 other months. I'm not a football fan, but I'm not a fall wedding person anyway.
You say that we often see him talking about serious things. I think that one person that might say college football is a serious thing, other than myself, is your old co-host, Will Kane. And he's so serious about it. He's made his way out to Columbus, Ohio. He's there for the Texas and Ohio State game. I think I know which team he's pulling for. Let's check him out. With his big hat.
Is my objectivity been compromised, Joey? Did I not try to read to the
Longhorn on your shirt, so you're not really all hat and no cattle.
That's
Charlie, a little
Longhorn.
He makes it diminutive and small and cute. It's the Texas Longhorns, Hurt.
It's a little Longhorn, but it's a big hat. And that's Will Kane, and we're going to have him all day long today on the show. So we'll check back with you, Will. Thank you. Great stuff.
All right.
President Trump's crime crackdown.
It's the 7 a.m. hour of Fox & Friends Weekend, starting with this. Chicago bracing for more. Nice, a little Johnny Rotten there with footage from out in Columbus, Ohio, for getting ready for the big game today. Are you excited, Rachel? Are you just out of your gourd?
No,
you're so excited?
I'm excited. I'm excited that we have Will Kane live from this event all throughout the show, ahead of this Texas-Ohio game and the big noon kick.
But out in Chicago, they're saying no thanks. They're not looking for any help from the federal government or anybody else as they brace for
go on just deteriorating and getting more and more unlivable. Post-COVID, it got even worse. And here's Governor Pritzker saying, yeah, I know it's not really fun to live here and it's dangerous, but we don't want your help, President Trump. Listen.
Yeah, not necessarily suggesting it, just invoking it, saying it, but not suggesting it. It really is amazing that's all they have such few cards, the Democrats right now, in anything they say. Real quick, I just want to point this out. And this is not to say we shouldn't do a tremendous amount more to prevent things like school shootings. Less than 210 children have died in school shootings since Columbine. 183 children die from gun violence in Illinois every year. That's on average. So if you care about these things, that's just Illinois. So numbers, the totality of the problem of gun violence in children is exemplified. It's amplified in a state like Illinois, mainly in Chicago, mainly by illegal handguns and gang violence. You would think the governor of a state with that big of a problem on the heels of something like what just happened in Minneapolis would be asking President Trump, hey, whatever you're doing in D.C. that brought homicides down to almost a 2-week zero, maybe you can help me out in Chicago and we can do something similar to that here. No, instead, he stands in front of a bully pulpit and says ridiculous things like, comparing it to the Holocaust, rounding up illegals, and then going, I'm not making that comparison. I'm just bringing it up.
And they're just so afraid that he's going to prove that they are inept.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they're just so afraid of him coming. And here's Border Czar Tom Homan saying, liberal leaders, get out of the way. For you guys, that everybody in Chicago is looking at what happened in Washington, D.C. You said 0 homicides in the last 2 weeks. There's been a 30% decrease in crime, 30% in just 2 weeks. There's been 1,369 arrests, 12 known gang members pulled off the street, 140 illegal firearms seized, 50 homeless encampments removed, and get this, 5 missing children found. I don't know the details behind that, but that's very interesting to me as well. So it works, they know it, and they're afraid that people might like it and decide that the people who were letting it happen, all this crime, should be voted out of office. That's really what's happening here. Meanwhile, the Trump administration is filing an appeal.
Joins us now. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. So, first of all, can you explain this ruling to us?
I'll do my best. These cover the liberation.
What do you think about, does this undermine, because we were talking earlier on the couch about how President Trump has used this not just economically, he's used this to actually get foreign countries to do things we want them to do, not just in terms of economics, but other things like cooperate with us on national security, maybe wind down wars. So how does this undermine just the country? Forget about just the president, the country on the world stage.
Well,
Who filed this, by the way?
Well, 5 small businesses, and then they were joined by 12 states. That's who did it.
And one of the problems is if it went to the Supreme Court and this sticks, would the government have to pay these businesses back their tariffs? And so it is something that we got to keep an eye on. 4 of the judges that ruled in dissent are Obama and Bush appointees, so it's not necessarily partisan. I think it really is on the matter of principle and how it's interpreted. Saul Weisenberg, thanks for joining us.
Happy to do it. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir.
Indeed. Okay, a scary story in the tech.
Listen, ChatGPT, for our generations, I don't think is used as much as younger generations. They are literally going to ChatGPT in place of mental health therapists, psychiatrists.
Or friends.
And friends and family. It's
Guys, for years now, and we've likened it or linked it back to, some studies have linked it back to social media. But what I want to point out is the difference between active and passive. Well, the algorithms that control or animate ChatGPT and what we're calling AI, those have existed for a couple of decades. They just now have a face and technically a voice, but they've passively been active with our kids when they open up Instagram and they search something, and then that Instagram algorithm brings those type things or TikTok into their feed and makes it and kind of creates this bubble and pushes other things out. So what I'm getting at is, yes, ChatGPT having this narrative conversation with someone, that's a big deal, and that is a bigger step. But it's been a problem, this idea that we're controlled and influenced by non-human algorithms. That's been a part of our teens' lives, their entire lives, since they've had social media. So just the point here being bringing up reels or TikToks that kind of are darker or lean towards this type of narrative, that's just as unhealthy, just as bad, and it's more prevalent because it's on all the apps that we're allowing our kids access to.
Yeah, so earlier this week on Fox and Friends, we had Jay Edelson, who's an attorney for the Rain family, who accuses Sam Altman.
wow. Yeah, again, I just don't think it's healthy for people to go get mental health therapy sessions from ChatGPT. They need to see real humans. They need to talk to their family. And we really need to discourage this kind of trend. And it is indeed much more ubiquitous than I had thought.
Yeah, nothing takes away how appalling these stories are. But of course, in every situation, there's a role for parents and friends
Absolutely.
to look out for one another and especially look out for your
You
children.
know, it's interesting to me. He said in America you can't. That's because places like Canada have made
Right.
it legal. They are assisting
Right.
young people in committing suicide. And what that means to me is that we still have a culture that at some level values life
Yep.
Yeah,
and
that's a great
values
point.
our connection to the people we love. And that's one of the things we need to hold on to the most.
No doubt. But another reminder that AI is taking over a lot of jobs, including
Yeah.
therapy,
Yeah.
counseling, and psychiatric help. Unreal.
Okay, turning now to your headlines. A manhunt. Law or laws, but, you know, can we just have some freaking manners?
It'd be nice to have some respect in public.
Yeah.
I think that's gone. We might have lost that. You know, talk about holding on to culture. That would be one thing. Is I feel bad about how my dad says, "Mind the wake you leave." That's what he
Yeah.
said. That's not hard, you know.
I look at this, I look at all the problems Britain has, including little girls who can't go to school without getting sexually assaulted, and I'm wondering why this is even a topic for Britain right now. I mean, they have so many huge problems going on. This is really the least of them. So sorry to get heavy on you, but
No.
that story is a big story in England, and it's hard to believe this is what they're focusing on. So
Yeah.
I'm going to leave it at that.
So does that mean that you listen to your speaker phone?
I have been
in public?
accused of walking along the street talking to my mom while without my earbuds on.
Oh,
But
terrible. All right. Up next, Democrats dismissing.
it's the 8 a.m. hour, Fox and Friends weekend, starting with this Labor Day week.
Okay. Listen, I got to tell a story real quick. You guys are going to like it. So that song, Zach Brown, Homegrown, I went to work for Zach 2016, right as that song came out. It was a huge hit. And
What
we
did
went,
you do for him?
I did a lot of things for him. It's insane. I was like a utility executive. A lot of people know Batman on stage.
Yeah.
I worked for Bruce Wayne that owned 17 different businesses, had an amazing nonprofit for autistic kids and veterans. He's a really amazing guy.
Okay.
And unique and eccentric like every kind of artist, but really amazing guy. But I got to stand on stage with him in my USMC t-shirt. While he ended that song, this was an Ohio State football game, and then he played a song called Dress Blues. And the entire audience, I mean, we're talking, it felt like 100,000 people, just interrupted this very solemn song with USA, USA. And that's like a seminal moment for me to remember, and I try to keep that with me. All the crap we've been through for the last 10 years since that happened is like how much Americans just want to really be celebrated and celebrate who we are, what we are, the sacrifice, all that. Every political, I mean, we're at a college campus. Every politic you can think of was out there, but it took 2 seconds for them to start loving our country. And I think about that all the time. Anytime I hear that song, I think about that. You know, it's always there just waiting to boil up. We have all these campus protests and indoctrination. We're one generation away, we say, from going extinct. We're also one bad thing away, just like 9/11, from the next generation being the one we're proud of.
Oh, that's
No
awesome.
doubt about it. Well, there's nothing more American than beer.
Yeah, there were probably a few beers that day, too.
Yeah, there probably were. And people love their beer here in America. And so Democrats who've been having this trouble with men, and remember the awkward moment where Elizabeth Warren tried to open a beer with her husband? That was like the greatest, most awkward political moment of all time. Well, they think, hey, if we get on this beer trend, we can show that Democrats are really with guys and beer. And apparently they're saying beer prices have gone, like, that are more expensive.
Yeah, I don't really follow I don't follow their logic here, but I love the idea that they have now reached the beer stage of trying to reach male voters. But I really think that you're onto something, Joey. I think the political pollsters should begin differentiating males versus biological males, biological females. They should do polling like that. And I think that Democrats would find themselves probably in even greater territory. They're going to have to go beyond just beer sales, beer prices.
They should.
Because you're saying the male numbers are include trans males? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, probably. They cheated everything.
If you start dissecting it that way, you also have to do your furries, right? The people that identify as dogs and raccoons.
Are furries upset about the beer prices?
I'd probably, because you'd have to be drunk to think that way to begin with, right? I mean, you can't be sober and be like, I'm going to wear a tail today.
So our crack producers did some research and found out that under Biden, because it only went up 2.2%, in his first 9 months.
So the Democrats can't do math.
Right, they can't do math. They lie about everything. And I do think that probably they're lumping the furries in there.
But, you know, they've gone from pajama boy to let's talk about beer. And they're trying to be tough. And here are some Democrats that are giving it their best shot to just be a tough guy.
Also, another example where they talk about the stupidest things.
Yeah.
And then over at the White House, where you have President Trump, he's talking about things that actually matter to people. He's talking about things that actually affect people's lives, like, I don't know, gas prices, which affect everything. It doesn't matter if you don't even own a car. You are affected by gas prices because gas prices go into every single product you buy. The price of diesel affects every single thing.
Well, you have to put gas in the car to go get the beer. But here's the Democrats trying to be tough. Watch.
We memorize that. You know, anytime that the first clip of Gavin Newsom talking about we need to be tough, anytime a guy goes from drinking beer to, I got to be tough, you're not dealing with the tough guy.
But it was weird because I felt like he was going to cry when he was saying it, too. It was just
I just want to know, have we moved beyond you, like, conceding that you think he's a little bit handsome? Like, is that ship has sailed now? Are we through that?
He's handsome.
No, he's greasy. He's got his hair.
Yeah, he's handsome in a really sleazy way, but he's handsome.
But not tough.
But he's definitely not tough. Definitely not tough. But you're so right. The gas prices are going down, Charlie, and that is what people are really looking at. And I suspect that this beer thing, even though the numbers clearly show beer prices going down, if there was any increase during the Trump administration, I think what you see is maybe foreign beers are a little more expensive. I don't know the facts on that, frankly.
Oil prices actually reached a negative price where you were literally paying someone to hold oil prices.
Yes.
To actually hold oil for you because it had reached so low. And I don't think anybody remembers that as a good time.
They said they price oil and gas by the barrel, and anywhere it fluctuates kind of from, I think it hit down to like the $20-something, and it goes up to $100 a barrel. There's a point there where it becomes a negative, to where it costs you more money to make it or produce it than you can sell it and make a profit. And that's President Trump talks about how certain things like a little bit of inflation can be good because you can make money off of it, or the price of oil and gas. But really, when you look at those prices year by year, they reached their maximum, which I think it's $3.79, when President Biden was putting the maximum amount of regulation on oil and gas, and when the world was at the maximum amount of turmoil in the Middle East and in Russia. And so for President Trump to get gas prices down, it not just drill, baby, drill, it also includes his foreign policy. And I think that's the part that we don't always connect back to it.
Absolutely.
Tariffs is foreign policy, but also seeing the global market respond to President Trump's leadership is a big way to get oil and gas prices down, and that's what he's done.
By the way, I'm not going to leave this without saying how lame Zoran Mondani's pull-up was on that bar. They were totally helping him do it. It was a girl one.
It was 135 pounds.
Yeah, not manly at all. All right.
All the way back around.
A girl one. Okay.
It was a girl one. I said it.
I didn't. Okay. Turning to this, we are learning more.
All right, we're going to turn now to your headlines. Deputies in Maine.
He's in his wheelchair. I ran into him there, and we're just riding around. We said, hey, let's stop in and get a tattoo. That's probably the most Marine story I've ever told on TV. So that's my Atlantic City, New Jersey
Well,
story right
what's
there.
funny is it's very similar to my tattoo story. But it was also
You
with
didn't have legs either?
No, but I was with a Marine, my brother, and he also was walking down the street and said, hey, we should get a tattoo together. And that happened. And my mom was not very happy.
This is the best way to do it. The best way to do it.
You got a tattoo?
I have a very large tattoo on my back, which I really regret
we need
a lot.
We need a tattoo segment.
No,
Okay.
This is a big regret in my life. Another era of my life. And I tell my kids all the time, biggest regret in my life was getting a tattoo.
No, don't.
Usually when things like this come out, they come out because somebody mentions to Rachel something in the break, and then Rachel blabs it during the next segment. This one, you did it to yourself.
I did it to myself.
I think.
Well, you said a Marine, and that is the story. This is a genuine story.
Millions of Fox News viewers want to see that tattoo.
Yeah,
What is,
not it.
I don't know.
Millions.
I don't.
It's a Gothic cross. It's so cheesy. It's a Gothic cross with a carpe diem in a rose wrapped around it.
That is awesome.
So dumb.
No, that's awesome. That
So
is
dumb.
awesome. I might need that tattoo.
All right. Still to come, a new poll revealing the stark divide.
Versus Ohio State, it's going to be a big game.
That's right, and Will Kane is live in Columbus with Barstool.
By this Portnoy style. So the reason why is Dave Portnoy he goes around the country and he does these pizza ratings. So he goes to mom and pop
He
pizza
reviews them,
shops.
yep.
And but listen, it's a cookie cake, and Portnoy style I think is to fold it.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to fold a
one
whole
bite.
cookie
You
cake.
take one bite.
Like that. I don't know.
You take one bite,
So you
and
fold
then
it
you
up like
say-
that.
You give it a rating. There you go. There you go.
Oh,
There you go.
It's a lot of sugar.
Yeah. You give it a 10, an 8, 2,
7 out of 10.
7 out of 10?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, I haven't had
For
anything else to eat
what
today.
kind of cookie is it?
It's a 7 out of 10 cookie.
7 out of 10
Yeah.
cookie. There you have it. Okay.
Chocolate
boy.
chip.
And we got diabetes now. I'll be right back. We got to take my GLP.
Okay, Democrats still struggling to connect with everyday Americans.
9 o'clock here in New York City. I'm joined by my friends here. We've got Charlie Hurt and, of course, Joey Jones. We've got other friends. They're over at a football game in Ohio where a lot of people hate him. It's Will Kane. He's live in Columbus, and we're going to get to him in just a second. But it's been fun checking in with him.
No, he is doing a very amiable job trying to make friends.
Yeah,
Well, he's
which is very
trolling
impressive.
the fans.
Well,
who
yeah,
are
he's
there
wearing
for
the
Ohio.
giant cowboy hat.
Yeah, he's wearing a 10-gallon hat. The problem is there's only about 5 gallon of head to put in it, so it looks kind of big right there. But no, I love Will.
5-gallon head and a 10-gallon hat, and technically he does not have any cattle.
No, he doesn't. He's all hat, no cattle. He thinks his football team's going to win. I don't know. The worst thing you can do as a college football team, and I know this from experience, is start the season ranked number 1. Oh. Yeah, I don't know why. It's almost like a bad look. I'm sure maybe an Alabama team or some team has probably finished out the year with it as well. But as a Georgia Bulldogs fan, anytime they're ranked number 1, I'm always a little bit nervous at the beginning of the
One
season.
of the most important things in life is to always adjust expectations at the beginning. You want to lower expectations and then overperform low expectations.
I think we should ask Will himself what he thinks about Texas starting the
Norris predictions ahead of the big game. Watch.
That was Dave Portnoy. Actually, it was his cousin Mario Portnoy.
Here's the deal.
He's in disguise
Here's the
for a
difference.
reason.
Dave Portnoy absolutely put $5,000 on that bet. I don't think Will Kane put $5,000. I don't think.
Oh,
Will
I
Kane
can
ponied up.
guarantee you Will did not put $5,000
There's no way. And Arch Manning is, so we were talking just now. So Arch Manning is the grandson of Archie Manning, very famous NFL quarterback, who's the dad of Eli and Peyton Manning. And so, it's a family.
It's going to be great.
That's what a quarterback is when the play starts and all the players are trying to tackle him and the other players are trying to block for him, and he just stands there. And a good quarterback like Brady has a really good way of not getting tackled and throwing the ball before he gets tackled.
In Rachel's defense, I didn't know what the pocket was either. I just made that up.
Well, we're talking about winning. We're talking about losing. We all lost during the Biden years because we had a president who wasn't mentally fit.
Not great in the pocket.
No, he was not. There was nothing going on in the pocket. There was nothing in the pocket.
He was mentally out of pocket.
He was out of pocket. And what's happened is that the House Oversight Committee has continued to probe and go down that list of people who should have let us know that we had our presidency on autopilot. And here's what's happening next. On Friday, and the God talking to a DNC chair, Jamie Harrison, another person who should have known what was going on, criticizing him for being one of the people on that long list of Democrats who didn't want to tell the truth. Watch. Had not interacted with President Biden. I mean, he's the DNC chair.
Yeah, no, and I think what is evident now is that this is going to be a problem that bleeds far past, conservatives or Republicans complaining about it. It goes to the heart of the credibility of all these people. And the thing that is really important to remember, Joe Biden may have been like ushered out into the sunset, but everybody around him thinks they still have political careers, are still involved in our politics, and if these people propped somebody up who was completely mentally gone in order to protect their own power, that's a real problem going forward.
There's a real headline in that clip there that kind of goes to watch an interview like that and say, there's no way I can support this party.
Well,
These people are crazy.
Open, dirty little secret that everybody in D.C. knew. And it was also, you saw that footage there of, the president off on some European trip that he took, and that's the one. Right? Who knew that he was mentally, not with it, and on autopilot? That the government was on autopilot, and then who was running it?
Right.
So. All right, well, we're also learning more about the horrific shooting. This was definitely anti-Catholic. I know that the mayor of Minneapolis has tried to make this about trans. It's not. It's about Catholic kids. It's about Christian kids. This is not the first Christian school to have been attacked by someone who was trans and on some sort of crazy medication that made them insane.
Yeah.
I asked him about prayer because there was also the mayor and other liberals who were criticizing Christians who were calling for thoughts and prayers. And here's what Bishop Barron had to say about that.
I love that you brought him on and gave him the opportunity to say that on a large platform, because I hope that gets clipped and people see it, especially those Democrat lawmakers. I mean, ultimately what they're doing is they're trying to dismiss prayer because they want gun control. And I'm sorry, but that's just not the way to get anyone on your side, to dismiss their faith, something that is so important to who they are. And like he said, it's not our job to dictate what God does or allows to happen. It's our job to keep our faith and love intact when these things happen.
By the way, he talked about a spiritual dimension. The other side of the coin is just how demonic the actions were of the young man who did that. And was he possessed? I wish I'd had more time with Bishop Barron to discuss that, but maybe we'll get to that because it is truly an evil act.
Satan is real.
It sure is.
Okay, turning now to your headlines. A former the Saturday Night in America, Trey Gowdy. So great to see you this morning, Trey. You're longtime prosecutor. You know your way around a search warrant. Was there anything in the search warrant that was surprising, or did it tell any special story to you about what's going on with the investigation?
It kind of screamed notice to me, either actual or constructive.
I've always thought, Trey, that we needed to know more, starting from Columbine on through, more from the parents, and not in even like a blaming, shaming way, but what could we learn from these families and these, dynamics and the mental health and the medicine that they've given their kids, the psychotropic drugs, whatever it is, the games, the video games, whatever it is. I just feel like there's been sort of like this taboo, like don't blame the parents or that respect their privacy. But in the end, we all suffer when we don't learn what's behind this.
I think parents, and Rachel, I mean, you and Sean have what?
I'm excited. You gave me a copy on Thursday, I think it was. You've got a new book out, The Color of...
Rachel and I've known each other for a long time. It does impact your soul, but I wanted a fictionalized way to let our viewers be a murder prosecutor.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Well, in crime stories, crime podcasts, people are fascinated with this. This is a great read. I have the book. I've started it. Can't put it down. So I highly, highly recommend it.
Yes, indeed. Order The Color of Death now at foxnewsbooks.com. Trey Gowdy, thank you, sir.
Thanks, Trey.
Thanks, Trey.
Hey, y'all are better looking in person. I love seeing y'all last week.
Well, next
love
week,
you,
come on set with us.
All righty. Y'all take care.
Thanks, man.
Take care, Trey. All right, it's time for another pop culture roundup. And joining me this morning is my friend and Fox News contributor, Raymond Arroyo. go. Thank you, Raymond.
Thank you, my dear.
Okay, so we're going to start with this. So Bill Belichick's girlfriend, Jordan Hudson, who's a lot younger than him, she files a trademark for the term gold digger. A lot of people think it's going to be a new jewelry line. What do you think?
Well, what I think is, I guess rocking the casket was taken, or grave robber, so she had to go with gold digger. I mean, he's 73, she's 24. This isn't about jewelry. I mean, take a look. The only jewelry's here.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. My problem with this is, look, it's embarrassing. You have this great NFL legend kind of trading on all of that with this very manipulative girl who's running the entire show and maybe the empire. They also have a Hulu docuseries that I think she's behind as well.
I'm just going to say the gold digger jewelry line, very clever. They're both getting what they want.
Yeah, I guess.
And we get to talk about it.
Yeah, well, it's good stuff for us.
Huh? Charlie wants to know what he wants.
What do you want?
Okay. All right,
Well,
Charlie.
This is a morning show, Charlie.
Yes.
Leave us alone. G-rated. Stop it.
All right, well, there's a former Real Housewife, Anne Marie Wiley. She says that Bravo canceled her for being conservative and for pushing, and now because of that, she's pushing her beliefs even more. So here's the deal. Her husband weighed in on girls' sports, and she backed him up, and then they canceled her. I believe they canceled her for this
I know,
reason.
but here's the problem. Look, I'm glad she's had a political reawakening because of sports, but you were on the Real Housewives. This is not a club you want to be a part of. I mean, trading on your acquired wealth and your plastic surgery for fame, not a club you want to be in. Anna Marie, count your blessings. You look beautiful. Welcome to the real world.
I have a totally different take on this. I love watching Real Housewives.
Yeah, but would you be a Real Housewife? Would your husband let you be a Real Housewife?
No, I don't have the look
Rest
of those
my
women.
case.
But I will say this: it would be more interesting if they allowed more variety, more views.
It's about trashy women who are plastic surgery junkies. It's not about
That's
normal
not true.
people.
Plastic surgery chicks can have an opinion on politics.
Okay.
All right.
Let's
and
go to the
sports.
next topic.
All right.
Just
this
go to
is
the
a
next
good one.
topic.
This is a great topic.
Okay.
So Snoop Dogg is a grandpa, and he smokes a lot of weed, but he's still a grandpa. And he takes the kids to the movies. And when he goes to the movies, the kids' animated movie, this Disney movie that he goes to see, Lightyear, exactly, has a lot of woke and LGBTQ themes. Listen, watch.
I took my grandson to see what was the movie with Buzz Lightyear?
Toy Story?
Not that one, but
the new Buzz, the Lightyear. I think it's called Lightyear.
with Keke Palmer. She had a baby with a woman. Well, my grandson in the middle of the movie like, Papa Snoop, how she have a baby with a woman? She a woman. Oh shit! I didn't come in for this shit. I just came to watch the movie. I'm scared to go to the movies now. Like y'all throwing me in the that I don't have an answer for.
My favorite
happened
clip
to the morning
ever.
show?
I love it. I didn't come here for this blank.
Well, look, this was based on Toy Story. That was about from infinity to beyond, not from surrogacy and beyond, okay? I appreciate what Snoop said here. Why are they introducing sexual politics into movies? I'm glad Lightyear failed. It was a breaking with the tradition of the movie. Let kids be sweet. Let them have a good time in a space adventure. Snoop is right, pot and all.
Who knew?
Well, not about the pot, but...
Snoop is just like us. All right.
I'm worried about you now. Real Housewives, and now you're moving toward the weed dispenser. I'm going to stay with you the rest of the day.
Okay, last topics. This is a good one. So, you know the new series on Netflix, Megan with Love? So people are watching it and saying, basically, it's so bad, it's good. What do you think?
Well,
I agree, actually.
At home, we call this with wine, Megan, because that's the only way to consume it. Look, this is kitchen porn in search of a personality. Let's face it. She has no personality. It's her hoity-toity friends from Montecito cooking things that you can buy at Costco in the frozen food aisle. And then she throws petals on it like she's a drunken flower girl. I mean, none of this works. It's embarrassing TV. There's a reason Netflix pulled back on the contract.
I'm going to go with this. It's so boring, so contrived, so effortlessly whimsical that, you know what? In the end, it's fascinating. That's how I feel about it. All right, Raymond Arroyo, thanks so much. We'll be right back.
Always fun.
And he joins us now. Welcome, Jonathan.
Hey, good morning.
Great to have you on. So tell us what is like, I noticed you said that you're seeing like addiction behavior, like really disturbing addiction behavior before this rule was implemented? Explain.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it really disturbing. I would say
Seen friction?
Yeah.
Or are students sort of realizing that, oh, wow, my mind is free to learn something fun and new?
I think we're getting a sort of sweet spot in the middle, which is
If I'm on a plane and I don't know there won't be Wi-Fi, I feel a little bit of anxiety. I'm like, when the plane lands, I'm going to get bad news. So that's not really their fault. My question is, I remember the teacher that told me you're not going to be walking around with a calculator in your pocket, and here I am. So, you know, the ban helps you now. But going back, you teach juniors, going back a few years, should there be education on, should we start earlier on teaching kids how to not have that addiction or how to manage it better so that you don't have to ban them by the time they get to you?
that is kind of what we're doing with this.
Exactly. I don't even know why we're debating it. Yeah. Jonathan Buckwalter, great information, and we hope that this is something that takes off in all schools.
And thanks for what you do.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much.
All right, more Fox and Friends next.